Hello once again, everyone. It's Eric here with Weather for Weather Geeks. It's the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast, and this is the video that we oftentimes talk about long-range things, short-range things in the past. Sometimes we delve into some astronomy if there's cool stuff going on in the sky. And since it is the last day of the month, what I thought I would do this evening is start out with quite a bit of climatology. We'll do a little review of October here, and what a month it was. It was a weird month. Temperature-wise, it was so warm at the beginning of the month, we were running air conditioners all the way through the 10th, and then a big pattern flip occurred on the 11th. The cold front came through, and ever since then it's been cooler than average with the exception of the last 2 days. It's just been a little bit above average yesterday and today, but as we close out the month, 2 degrees warmer than average, 1.9 to be exact. Hard to believe we're that much above average considering we had what, 19 days, 18 out of 19 days, or 17 out of 18, I'll have to do the math here. It's a lot of days that were cooler than average, with one exception on the 20th when it was right at average. So from the 12th through the 29th, it was quite a cool stretch, but that being said, it'll still finish as a warmer than average month. It's hard for us to get a cooler than average month lately. We've had warmer than average months each and every month since May, after a chilly March and April. Precipitation-wise, not a great month overall. You know, we had the warmth earlier on this month. That was nice. But every Friday, every Saturday, and every Sunday, we've had at least a trace of precipitation here in October. It has rained particularly steadily on Saturdays, it seems like. We've had at least 0.16 inches of rain every Saturday in the month of October. Fridays were, the rainfall amounts were quite as impressive. We had 0.58 this past Sunday. Otherwise, the Sunday rainfall totals were nothing crazy, but we did have some precipitation on every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this month. On Wednesdays, it was also pretty unsettled with the exception of the 3rd. 3.66, the official number at the airport for the month, 0.89 inches above the average for October. This was our October forecast that we put out at the end of September, calling for warmer than average temperatures across much of the eastern U.S., a cooler than average month in the middle of the country, and especially up towards the U.S.-Canadian border, pretty warm along the west coast. That was the forecast. How'd it do? Well, pretty good, actually. It was a pretty good forecast. Here's that we had this area almost perfectly drawn. The cooler than average temperatures were indeed out here, the west coast, pretty warm. So October, that was a pretty good forecast. I will tell you, though, that the November forecast is promising to be a little more of a headache. This is what we have for November, showing equal chances of a warmer than average month and a cooler than average month in eastern Ohio and western PA. The highest odds of cooler than average temperatures out here. But I'll tell you, I could see where this forecast gets in a lot of trouble later on this month. We'll see how it shakes out, but I don't have a lot of confidence in this forecast, a low confidence monthly forecast. There's a lot of computer model disagreement for November, particularly in the middle and latter portions of the month. So take this with a grain of salt. This is, we're going to put out a forecast, but I'll be curious to see how this pans out, because I'm not real confident that it will verify exactly right, like October did. Odds are pretty high, though. This is a higher confidence deal in the precipitation department. Odds are pretty high that it will be a wetter than average month in November, particularly over the next week to 10 days. Several chances for some wet weather. So far, today's rain has been pretty much as we expected. It moved in by midday and added up to a couple of tenths to a third of an inch or so far. For trick or treat this evening, and that's been just kind of one of those nuisance light rain drizzle kind of situations. It's been one of those evenings where the radar may look quiet over your neighborhood, but it's misting or drizzling real lightly. That happens a lot of times because the radar beam is a few thousand feet above our heads. Precipitation that's falling under that level. If the clouds are real low, get a little drizzle, sometimes the radar can't quite pick it up. So it's been just kind of a murky second half of the day today. Steadier rain off to the south towards southern Ohio. That's what's pushing in later on tonight. And a lot of rain down towards the Mississippi Valley. In fact, a severe weather threat for trick-or-treaters this evening in places such as Houston and Waco, and heading up towards Shreveport and Little Rock as well. So this kind of fine mist or drizzle will give way to a steadier rain as we go through the overnight hours, and just plan on a soggy morning commute for Thursday morning. I do think the rain lets up, as the model is depicting here, as we go into the midday hours. But then as we go to the afternoon, the rain picks up again. So the morning commute and the afternoon/evening commute both looking pretty soggy, with perhaps a break in the action right around lunchtime for Thursday. Notice how close this front is, this warm front. I think there'll be a pretty big temperature spread across our television viewing area tomorrow. In a place like Mesopotamia, maybe Greenville, you may not get out of the 40s tomorrow afternoon, but a place like East Liverpool and Newcastle and maybe even up to Grove City, you might sneak into the mid-50s late in the day tomorrow. So it could be one of those deals where we have like a 15-degree temperature spread, or at least a 10-degree temperature spread across our TV viewing area for tomorrow late in the day. Friday looks pretty murky as well. A lot of clouds around, probably very little, if any, sunshine Friday. It does not rain as much on Friday, but I do think there could be a shower, perhaps some areas of drizzle at times on Friday. In fact, we'll hang on to the thread for a shower into Saturday morning. Hopefully, by Saturday afternoon, some of this clearing out in western Ohio will be able to work in. It may take a little while, but might finally see some clearing before sunset Saturday evening. All right, rainfall totals on top of what we've already picked up will probably average another inch to inch and a half on top of what we've already seen. That's, pretty decent computer model spread here, or agreement, I should say. With the European model, this line right here, a little bit higher than the rest. Inch to inch and a half on top of the average of a quarter of an inch that we've already picked up. And the Weather Service has extended the flood watches over into far eastern Ohio and into northwest PA as well. Not real concerned about flooding at this point. The rain can get a little bit heavy at times tomorrow evening, but for the most part, this is going to be a pretty light rain event. So I think part of the reason they probably issued this is because it's been kind of a wet month. The ground is pretty wet. But I don't expect widespread problems. Isolated problems, sure. But widespread problems, pretty unlikely. Sunday looks like a nice day as we wrap up the weekend. Then early next week, I showed you this last night, and not much has changed in the overall thinking. One little wave might bring us a couple of showers on Monday. And then on Tuesday, Election Day, stronger area of low pressure moving through parts of the Great Lakes and dragging a strong cold front down, and this could be a recipe for a windy day, maybe some showers and certainly some showers should be around, maybe some thunderstorms as well as we go into Election Day. So hopefully that does not impact voter turnout. Hopefully there's big turnout for the midterms this year. Might just have to dodge a couple of raindrops on the way to your polling place. All right, that's it for Weather Geeks tonight. I'll see you back here for a fresh edition of this video on Thursday evening, the first Weather for Weather Geeks of the month of November.